Back in 7th grade, me and my best friend Jenna thought we were invincible. We lived in the same neighborhood and spent most weekends together. One Saturday night, we decided to sneak out and try ding-dong ditching. Kids at school had been doing it and said it was fun. Dumb, harmless fun. But we were bored and wanted to try it for ourselves. We waited until both our parents went to sleep. It was maybe around 11:30 p.m. when we met up at the corner where our street meets. I remember the air felt heavy, like it does before a storm, but it was still warm out. We did not have a list or anything, just figured we hit a few houses and run around like idiots. The first house we chose was 3 blocks down. Lights were off and no cars were in the driveway. I did the first one while Jenna waited by the mailbox. I ran up, rang the doorbell, and sprinted back. The door opened maybe 10 seconds later. We were behind a row of bushes and could see the guy step out in his pajamas, look around confused, then go back in. We could barely keep it together from laughing. The adrenaline rush was way more intense than I expected. The second house, we picked one that had a rusty old truck in the driveway. It looked like it hadn't been moved in a while. I remember thinking someone had to be home because the porch light was on. Jenna did the honors this time. She rang it and bolted back to where I was hiding, behind a thick tree across the street. We waited and waited, but no one came out. I whispered, "Maybe they're sleeping." Jenna did not respond at first, then quietly said to me, "Wait, don't move. There's someone watching." I froze. "What?" I said. She leaned closer. "Upstairs window, right side. I swear I saw someone standing there." I peeked carefully, but did not see anything at first. Then I caught a shadow, just barely. Not moving, just standing there, watching. We stayed behind that tree for maybe another 30 seconds, not saying anything. Then we slowly backed away and started walking fast down the street. Once we turned the corner, we ran. After a few more houses and a couple close calls, we were out of breath and laughing like idiots again. We split up and each went back to our own homes that night. I climbed in through the window I had unlocked earlier and crept back to my room. I remember being so hyped up from the whole night that I couldn't fall asleep. I shut my bedroom door behind me and started changing into my pajamas when I heard it. Our doorbell rang. At first I thought maybe Jenna was messing with me, but it wasn't a single ring. It was 3 quick presses, one after the other, like whoever was out there was impatient. I ran to my window, which faces the front yard. I could not see anyone at the door, but then I looked a little further down the driveway. That same old truck from earlier, it was parked right in front of our house. And I swear to you, I could make out someone standing on the other side of it, just their outline from the streetlight behind them. I ducked immediately. I heard my dad's bedroom door creak open, and his footsteps head down the hall. He was grumbling, probably thinking it was a package or some neighbor. He opened the front door. I heard him say, "What the hell?" and then slam it shut. I peeked out the window again, and the truck was gone. Gone like it had never been there. I did not sleep that night. When I got to school on Monday, I did not even want to bring it up, but I couldn't hold it in. I started telling Jenna about the truck showing up at my house, and her face went pale before I could even finish. She said after she got home, maybe 10 minutes after me, she went straight to bed. Her doorbell rang a few minutes later. 3 quick presses. She looked out her front window and saw the same truck. Same old beat-up thing. Someone standing near it. She did not wake her parents, just hid in her room all night. I mean, neither of us ever told our parents, and I never ding-dong ditched again. Ever. And to this day, we don't know who was in that house or why they followed us. It still creeps me out to think they somehow figured out where we both lived. We thought we were just being dumb kids. Turns out, not everyone thinks it's a joke. This happened when I was 13. It was the summer going into 8th grade. My best friend Nick and I were hanging out on a Saturday night in our neighborhood, which is in a quiet part of Pennsylvania. Our parents thought we were out playing manhunt with the other neighborhood kids. We said we'd be in the cul-de-sac near the park, but instead, Nick had the idea to go ding-dong ditching. I wasn't crazy about it. I was always the more cautious one, but Nick talked me into it. He said we'd only hit a couple of houses on the next block over, and then meet up with the others like nothing happened. We started at a tan house on Birchwood Drive. One ring. We ran behind a bush and watched. A woman came to the door. She looked really confused, and then went back inside. Harmless and kind of funny, I thought. I felt the rush Nick had been talking about. We hit another house across the street, with the same result. Then we went to this one house on the corner. It was old, with peeling white paint and a sagging porch. I always assumed it was empty, but that night, there was a car in the driveway. The porch light was off. Nick dared me to do it. I walked up and rang the bell, then sprinted back to the tree across the street. But no one came to the door. We waited for a minute, and still no one came to the door. I was about to say, let's just go, when Nick grabbed my arm and said, "Hold up." I followed his gaze up to the window on the second floor. Someone was looking out. We dug behind the tree, and I said, "Dude, let's go." But then, the front door creaked open. We peeked out and saw a man step out onto the porch, looking around. He wasn't dressed like somebody ready for bed. He had on a black hoodie and jeans. He scanned the street, then stepped back inside, but he did not close the door. We crossed the street and cut through the yard next door, trying to make a wide loop around the house. But as we passed by the back of the house, we heard shouting, loud. Then something slammed. Nick crept closer to the fence and peeked over it. Then he dropped flat to the ground. "Dude," he said, "they've got someone tied in a chair." I did not believe him. I looked. Through the basement window, I saw it. Dim light and a guy slumped in a chair. There was duct tape around his chest and something over his mouth. The second guy, older, in a flannel shirt, was yelling at him. Then he slapped him so hard the guy nearly tipped over. We laid there in the dirt. I did not know what to do. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they were sure gonna hear it. Nick pulled his phone out and started recording. He had it angled just enough through the fence to get the basement window. We stayed for maybe a minute more, just long enough to hear the old guy say something about doing it tonight and dumping the car after. I don't know how we got out of there without being seen, but we ran straight back to my house. I remember my legs felt like jelly and my throat was dry. We told my dad something vague at first, just that we saw something bad. He did not take it seriously until Nick showed him the video. The police came that night. Turns out, the guy in the chair had been missing for 2 days. He was a mechanic from the next town over who'd gotten carjacked. They found zip ties, tape, and a gun inside the house. The 2 men were arrested on the spot. One of them had a warrant out from another state. I had to talk to detectives the next day. So did Nick. They said if we hadn't come forward, there's a good chance that man wouldn't have made it through the night. I never gone ding-dong ditching again. Not once. What's messed up is I still live in that neighborhood. That house is still standing, but it's boarded up now. Every time I walk past it, I get this sick feeling in my stomach. I think about how close we were to getting caught. If they had looked out their basement window while we were standing there. Anyway, that's what happened. I still have a copy of that video, but I haven't watched it in years. Hey, we're not sure if this story will freak anyone else out as much as it did me, but here it is. I bought my first house last summer. It's in a quiet neighborhood in the suburbs, a couple of towns over from where I grew up. I'm 27, single, no roommates, just me and my dog Murphy. The place isn't huge, but it was a good deal, and it felt like a fresh start. Everything was going fine until about 2 weeks after I moved in. One night, around 1 a.m., my doorbell rang. It woke me up, and I immediately assumed it was a delivery screw-up or maybe a drunk neighbor. I got out of bed, checked the peephole, but no one was there. I opened the door anyway, looked around, and did not see anyone. The first time I did not think much of it. I just figured it was a fluke. But then it happened again the next night. Same exact time, 1 a.m. on the dot. This time, Murphy started barking before the bell even rang. He was at the front door, ears perked, growling. Again, I looked outside. No one. No cars on the street. No footsteps running away. Just dead silence. By the third night in a row, I was starting to get annoyed. I even checked the doorbell cam I had just installed, but it hadn't recorded anything. It was motion activated, so if someone was out there, it should have picked it up. I thought maybe the sensor was too slow, so I tweaked the settings. Night 4, you guessed it, ding dong, 1 a.m. No footage, no one. It was around then I stopped chalking it up to kids playing a prank. I started staying up late just to catch whoever was doing it. The 5th night, I sat on my couch in the dark with Murphy, waiting. I had the lights off, my phone in my hand with the camera app opened, ready to go. 1 a.m. comes. The doorbell rings. I sprint to the front window, yank the curtains aside, and I swear to God, there's no one there. Not even a shadow walking away. I opened the door immediately and looked around. No one. And at this point, it was messing with my sleep, my mood, everything. I asked a neighbor the next day if they had anything weird happen lately, but he just kind of shook his head and said, "Nah, this area's quiet." Well, that night, I set up my phone in the window, facing the door with video rolling at 12:55 a.m. I'd figured I'd at least get something. 1 a.m. comes. Ding dong. I jumped up, my heart racing, and checked the footage. It showed the doorbell being pressed, but no one in the frame. Just the button going in, like a ghost pushed it. But I do not believe in that crap. That same night, I decided to leave a note on the door. Just a simple message. I don't know what this is about, but stop ringing my doorbell at 1 a.m. Next night, same thing. Ding dong at 1 a.m. But this time, the note was gone. Completely gone. Not on the ground, not blown away, just vanished. Murphy started acting strange too. He wouldn't go near the front door anymore, not even during the day. He'd stare at it from across the room and growl, his ears flat. One night, this is where it got really bad. I left the front door unlocked on purpose. I had a bat next to the door, and I wanted to end this. 1 a.m. hits. Ding dong. I wait a beat, then yank the door open. No one. But now, there's something else. Taped to the outside of the storm door was a single Polaroid photo. I looked down at it and couldn't believe it. It was a picture of me sleeping. Now I know I locked every window. I triple check every night. I have security cameras. But this person, or whatever the hell they are, got into my house, took a picture of me sleeping, and left it taped to my door like it was a warning. I lost it from there. I called the police. They came, took the photo, and checked the area. But there was nothing to go on. No prints, no signs of forced entry, and of course, my camera did not catch anything. The cops said it could be someone with a universal garage door opener, or one of those lock-picking tools off the dark web. Either way, they did not have much to work with. They told me to get better locks, maybe a new alarm system, and be careful. That was it. I stayed at a hotel for the next 2 weeks. Nothing happened during that time. I eventually sold the house at a loss and moved back closer to my parents. I don't know who it was or what they wanted, but they came back every single night at 1 a.m. just to ring the doorbell, and then one night, they were inside. And I'll never forget that photo. Whoever was doing it, they weren't just messing with me. They were planning something. And I think I got out just in time.